Hey everyone, Tony Walsh here. Welcome back to the channel. If you watched one of my recent videos, you saw where Jackie and I had picked some peanuts, and we had ended up with give or take about 4 gallons. It was our best guess because the 5-gallon bucket wasn't quite full. So we're fixing to boil these things to where we can eat them. And if you've never had a boiled peanut, you do not know what you're missing. Roasting a peanut is sacrilegious. It's a sin to roast a peanut. Now I eat them, but I'd rather have a boiled peanut. And I told this story in my other video, and I'm gonna tell it again. You know, I'm a Yankee, but was raised in the South, married to a good old Southern girl. And of course, in the South, we go to races and go to races a lot, and we did that in our younger days. So we were at the racetrack in Jacksonville, Florida one weekend, and they run out of food, except for boiled peanuts. Now, I didn't eat boiled peanuts at the time, but I was so hungry that I learned to eat a boiled peanut, and have been in love with them ever since. So we just took the peanuts that we grew in the ground, and there's I know you can't hardly tell them there. I'll show some close-ups later. So they're what they're called a green peanut. And so this is a 24-quart pot with give or take 4 gallons of water, 2 gallons of water with 4 gallons of water with two gallons of peanuts. Then we've got 2 cups of salt, and yeah, that's a lot of salt, but that's what makes the peanuts taste good. I'll boil this, and I have the flame about as big as the bottom of the pot, so that way it gets the whole bottom boiling and sort of equals that temperature out. So I'll boil these for at least an hour to see how tender they get and to see how salty they are. Now you have to be careful, because if you get them too salty while you're cooking, when they sit up, they're going to absorb even more salt out of that water. So you have to be careful. This is a delicate balance, and no way to teach you. It's just a trial and error as you cook them. So I'm not going to make you sit here for an hour and watch me boil these peanuts. So I'll bring you back when that time's up. Okay, one thing I don't think I mentioned was, the green peanuts are on the left, the boiled peanuts are on the right, so you can see they change colors. But one thing you have to do before you start boiling these things, you have to wash these things, and you have to wash them good, because if there is any dirt on these shells, it will boil and soak into these holes, and these peanuts will taste like dirt. So you got to make sure these things are clean. But before you start cooking. So let me open it, and you can see on the left, the green ones, you can see one that's got 1 peanut, another one's got 2 peanuts, another one's got 3, and another one's got 4. And then on the right, you know, you see a 1, a 2, and a 3. So obviously the more peanuts in the hole, the smaller they are. The less time it takes to cook. The big peanuts take longer to cook. So you have to be real careful there too. But let me get these open, that way you can see them. Okay, I've got them holed out. Again, the green ones here that have not been cooked, the boiled ones here, and you can see they have a color change. So, but even here in the raw ones, you see some darker red ones versus some white ones. These are all supposed to be Valencia, and I do not remember what the seed company was. And even cooking them, they've turned out like that. And really, you can't tell a taste difference. There's a little bit of texture difference, but not bad. And the ones that are boiled, you can see the one right here. This is the one that had 2 in it, but there was only one nut in it. The one did not grow right there. The one nut grew right there. So even though it was a 2 in the hole, there was really only 1 peanut in there. And then here's the one that was 3, and you can see this middle one crowded this third one right here. But still, it's all still good to eat. So that is the difference between raw peanuts and boiled peanuts. So we done these about 2.5 hours. We had to refill the water twice because it would just evaporate the water out of it. So you got to keep water on top of the peanuts. When the peanuts start floating, you know, that's when you know you got enough water. So you just got to keep that steady boil. For we ended up about 2.5 hours, and it took a whole box of salt. And right now, these do not taste salty enough. But I bet you by the time they sit in that pot all night long, they'll absorb some salt. So we'll let them sit and I'll bring you back. So our boiled peanuts ended up with these 6 bags, and I believe they're quart bags, boiled peanuts. And we just, after we get done boiling, we put them in the bags and freeze them. You can see all these are dated August 17th of 2025. But that's not all of the peanuts. Jackie learned a new trick. So let me get these put back up in the freezer and take you inside and show her a different way of doing peanuts. Now, in the early part of this video, you saw me boiling some peanuts, and that are those that are in the freezer that I just showed you in that previous clip. So here we have 9 quart jars of green boiled peanuts. And these are canned, obviously, so you can see I got some labels here that says canned boiled peanuts. So how can these be canned? How can we call them canned boiled peanuts? Well, Jackie found a recipe that is for canning green peanuts in the shell, and it comes from this book here is the So Easy to Preserve from the University of Georgia. Go Dogs. And it told us how to can green peanuts. And the reason I added boiled to it is because they are pressure cooked, so to some extent, you know, it's just hard for me to say a canned peanut. So I'm calling them canned boiled peanuts, but the recipe's there. If it's something that interests you, let me see if it's on one page or two. Yep, it's just on one page, so you can pause that and read that if you want to. So, the reason we did this, we learned during Hurricane Helene, don't put all your eggs in one basket. So if they're all in the freezer, you don't have electricity for 10 days, and you can't get electricity to your freezer, your generator runs out of gas or whatever, then all of our peanuts would be ruined. So this way here, at least half are froze, half are canned. Now, I have not tried one of these yet, so let me do that. Let me get some out of here and some out of the freezer, and we'll see what they look like in comparison. Okay, in closing out this video, I'm actually going to compare the canned boiled peanuts to the boiled and frozen peanuts. And I've already eaten some of both, and you can see they look the same. The texture is the same. The moisture content is the same. So as far as that aspect, there is no difference. So here's what the shells look like hauled out from the canned peanuts, and then the shells, the hulls from the boiled peanuts. Again, no different. The only difference is there is more salt in the ones I cooked via boiling than the ones Jackie cooked via canning. And again, that's not me nor her. That is the salt preference of the cook. I happen to love salt. So I'm going to put in a little bit more than what somebody else is. And I have to be careful of that because I can make them too salty. Actually, I made these too salty, and Jackie soaked them again in fresh water just to try to dilute some of the salt. So where I went overboard, you know, maybe she could have put a little bit more. And again, it could just be this one jar. The other 8 could have salt in them. That's just the thing with boiled peanuts. Unless you do them day after day after day after day and have you a process down, it can be different. So out of this batch, I prefer the boiled, but I am not going to turn my nose up to the canned boiled peanuts. So we will definitely be doing both in years to come. Again, that way we have our harvest split, stored, 2 different methods. So regardless of the weather, we have some food. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If y'all did, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment. Until we get back together, y'all take care and God bless.